Hi there, I'm Zoot Java. Today I'd like to talk about 19 suspects being arrested by the Italian police with regards to a criminal organization taking migrants from Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, and Pakistan to Italy and then up into northern Europe. An investigation began in Catania, Sicily, by prosecutors who exposed a network involving hired or stolen sailboats for transporting migrants through Turkey and Greece in through Italy. Some traveled north to the French border and then smuggled by some form of vehicle into France. This was due to human smugglers in border towns that police discovered. Among those arrested were Iraqi Kurds, Afghans, and Italians. According to police, one of the bases of the alleged rings was in Bari, southern Italy. Here they were issued false documents stating the migrants had housing, which is a requirement for residency permits. There are also other bases in Milan and Turin in northern Italy, with another in the town of Ventimiglia near the French border. Pardon my pronunciation there. Others allegedly involved were falsifying work contracts so the migrants could then apply for permission to reside in Italy. In 2018, 10 boats arrived near the city of Syracuse in eastern Sicily. These boats came from Turkey and Greece in the eastern Mediterranean instead of from Libya, where hundreds of thousands of migrants came to Italy for years now, using very risky boats from the traffickers. According to police, one of the suspects was about to move migrants from the railroad station at Ventimiglia in France, which is one of the preferred destinations for those getting smuggled. People sailing the boats were paid around $1,000 or approximately 800 euros per crossing. The migrants paid on average around 6,000 euros or $7,200 to be smuggled from Asia through Turkey and Greece into Italy. This smuggling ring, according to Italian authorities, was an essential link of connection with criminal groups active in Turkey and Greece. My take on this? Well, it's a bad situation all around. People who are running these organizations should be dropped in prison for the maximum penalty allowed. They are encouraging people to risk their lives and to encourage them also to engage in further criminal behavior, as this is the first thing that they see upon arriving in a European nation. As a result, they take it for granted that this behavior is the norm, and to engage in it will leave them not only unpunished, but encouraged as a result. These migrants are economic, as witnessed with them selecting specific countries to travel to. If they are in some form of danger, there are a number of countries in Africa that they can travel to in order to seek refuge. Taking them all in Europe will create a vacuum effect in which their countries will empty out, and the Western nations that they wind up invading will end up the same as where they came from. They will then wind up like third world nations with the citizens unable to pay for them, as these countries are already unable to pay for themselves, as witnessed by the national debts that they have. And that is before this pandemic that has all but destroyed the economies around the world and driven a huge number of the populations out of their jobs and self-owned livelihoods. Western nations have way too many benevolent causes that are funded by taxpayers, which are good things. However, they far outweigh the money available to run the country properly and to also pay for these things. Bringing in millions of people from all over the world will be a huge strain on this already ridiculous spiraling debt. It will not, as the lying politicians state, create any jobs. It will simply drive down the wages available to be paid for the actual citizens of the countries. This will also be reflected in the taxes, which will not be as high for the government to collect and attempt to pay off the debt, but also will, as a result of the amount of the dismal wages made because of the expansive workforce, the migrants, wind up being a large amount being paid by the actual citizens. Rather than simply throw hundreds of millions of dollars at these countries, which also adds to our debt, the government should provide an initiative for graduates in different fields in our own countries to go to these countries and teach them how to run themselves in the same fashion as our countries. After all, if they'll pay all this money and risk their lives to get to Western countries, then it's obvious that Western countries are far superior to wherever they are coming from. So they obviously need to be shown how to run their countries properly in order to keep their populations from running away from their native lands. Now for the part that you've all been waiting for, my bad joke. Why don't cannibals eat divorced women? Because they're bitter. Okay, anyhow, don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps me out. And apparently, it really annoys those who are running the platforms. Click the bell for notifications of more of my words of wisdom and share my content on your social media because I get censored by all the usual suspects. Until later, have a Java on Zoot.